The dollar falls into the same trap, but aren't they guilty themselves? It turns out Scott Bessent also listed 2 of his houses as his primary residence. Donald Trump called such actions by Lisa Cook mortgage fraud and a reason to dismiss her from her position as former governor. Should the Treasury Secretary be fired as well? The US president often presents wishful thinking as fact. This also applies to his calls for the Fed to cut the federal funds rate by 50 basis points or more. According to him, the central bank should listen to someone as smart as he is. A massive sell-off of the US dollar allowed US to soar to 4-year highs. The euro has never risen so fast during the first 9 months of a year as it has in 2025. The Fed remains fixated on the labor market. It's no surprise that investors are ignoring strong data on other important indicators, inflation and retail sales. Speculators continue to dump the US dollar on expectations of a renewed cycle of monetary expansion. Dynamics of speculative positions in the US dollar-euro bulls are not deterred by either the escalation of the armed conflict in Ukraine, with Russian drones appearing on Polish territory, or the political crisis in France. These events are viewed as secondary. The main stage is set in Washington. Meanwhile, the Eurozone's resilience to tariffs against the backdrop of a cooling US economy provides additional tailwinds for US bulls, but in the short term, the main currency pair may even extend its rally if updated federal funds rate projections show 2 cuts in 2025. The derivatives market is pricing in 3, while Bloomberg experts expect 2. The Fed will decide. The central bank's verdict will determine the short-term direction of Eurostat. Over the longer horizon, however, the pair's fate seems predetermined. Market expectations for the Fed's rate. In reality, the current situation painfully resembles the 1970s. President Richard Nixon shared the same desire to boost the US economy through rate cuts. The same pressure on Fed Chair Arthur Burns. Eventually, he gave in. Monetary policy was loosened and inflation returned. Prices began to surge uncontrollably, and the new central bank head, Paul Volcker, was forced into aggressive monetary tightening. The result is well known, a double-dip recession. If Trump calls himself a smart man, he should know history and understand the pressure on the Fed that leads to it. In today's context, it is seen as a threat to central bank independence, and there's no worse scenario for the US dollar. Technically, on the daily Euros chart, the uptrend has resumed, followed by a slight pullback of the bulls. They still hold the initiative. Therefore, a rebound from support at 1.182 or a return above the current bar's higher at 1.187 should be used for buying. Best MetaTrader indicators profitable expert advisors.